Hello and welcome to a special edition of Tech Talk. You join me at the Dunsfold Aerodrome in Surrey, better known as the Top Gear Test Track. In a few minutes I'm going to drive a few laps of the track on an Xbox One before going out and driving it for real. Then we'll see if a few laps on a simulator makes me a better driver in the real world. Off the line, and despite being dry in the game and wet in reality, both cars accelerated at a similar speed up to the first corner. You can see the buildings and even tree lines ahead and to the right are almost identical. Entering the first corner, I turned in too early in the game, expecting there to be less front-end grip than there actually was, while in reality I turned in too tightly. Here the car feels completely stable in the game, but in reality is unsettled on the exit by the edge of the runway. For the next right-hander, known as Chicago, I once again turned in too early in the game and too late in reality, where I failed to reach the apex of the corner and this slowed my exit speed. Approaching the hammerhead, I braked at exactly the same time on both laps, as you can see by the identical markings on the runway. In the game, I dropped from 4th to 2nd gear before the left kink, but in reality I shifted to 2nd after the kink. This gave me more to do and took my attention away from hitting the apex on the right. Exiting onto the straight, you can once again see how the trees and buildings are identical on both laps. The flat-out right kink, known as the follow-through, also looks the same on both, although the wet track in reality meant more understeer through here, and also through the left kink past the tyre wall. The second to last corner is fast but fairly simple in the game and in the dry, but on the wet lap, in reality, I felt sudden loss of grip when turning off the runway and onto the access road. This change in road texture is often not replicated in games. And finally to the last corner. In the game, I was far too conservative with my entry speed. In reality, I was unsettled from running a touch wide on the previous corner, braked late, turned in too sharply and understeered wide. On the game, my lap time was 1 minute 48 seconds, and in reality, it was 1 minute and 52. Just got in from my lap out on the track there. It's a little bit wet today, which you can't replicate in the game, which was a shame. So to conclude then, while the game is incredibly useful for teaching the layout of the circuit, I spent a few days last week learning at home, it is really, really useful for that. When I was out there today, I really felt I knew which corner was coming next and how to take it and where to position the car. What the game really can't do is convey the same sense of speed, but also the sense of traction and grip. I felt, especially in the weather today, that it's changing. I was out there for 3 laps and it changed every time I went round. That's something a video game can't quite achieve. Having said that, you know, driving games in particular now, they are simulations of real life. They look great, they do feel good. And as Sony has shown with its Gran Turismo Academy, you can take good gamers and turn them into good racing drivers. Feeling under pressure, yeah, you can get that on the game as well, but obviously in the real world it's much, much stronger. And from my experience today, I found that it's not quite a replacement for the real thing. Thank you so much for watching Tech Talk. I'm Alistair Charlton for IB Times UK.